Well, if you've got 3 other friends, then this microphone might be the one for you. I'm Zach and I review camera gear. This is kind of my hobby, but today we're actually talking about microphones. And this microphone in particular is great because you can allow up to 4 people to record audio with you. In my specific instance, it's just me in the studio. I do this solo. I don't have a lot of people that do it with me, at least not yet, but this is a microphone that would allow you if you were in a scenario unlike mine. This specifically on my chest is the 7 Rims iRay DW40. I don't know if it's the 7 Rhymes or 7 Rims or 7 Reams. They didn't really tell me what to say. A lot of these brands have kind of unique names, so I'm probably just gonna end up calling this the iRay DW40 or even just the DW40 for clarity's sake. 7 Rims, or at least I hope that's how it's said, is a subsidiary of Comica, which is really known for their wireless shotgun microphones. They make a bunch of stuff, but this microphone is no different. This falls under like their more budget-oriented umbrella. They have other microphones like this. They have a bunch of different options, but this one in particular is from their budget line, and so this is their 4-channel microphone. And honestly, I'm just glad that they sent this out to me to test. They don't get to see this video before it goes live, so what you guys are seeing is my honest and true opinion. And honestly, if it's really bad, they get to see it with you guys too, so I really can't say anything there. Now, what is kind of cool about this and kind of weird at the same time is this is technically 4 channels. And really, I'll show you here. I'm actually using this on the camera right now, so I can't show you all of the equipment, but you know, on the screen you can see what the receiver looks like. You can see up close what the transmitters look like, and there's 4 of those transmitters, by the way. So you can record up to 4 different people. You can record stereo and mono. So if you do want to record stereo and mono, you can easily do that. Mono means that all 4 channels will be on the same track. They'll just be duplicated, A and B. If you do record in stereo, then A and C will be on one track and B and D will be on the other track. I don't know why those 2 combos specifically. However, that's just how it works. The one thing I don't understand though is why something like this kind of exists. If I were using this, maybe I would want to have 4 separate audio channels, but at least in my camera, the A6700, I don't know that there's a way to do 4 different tracks. So I would think if you wanted 4 different audio tracks, you'd have to have 2 transmitters, 1 receiver, 2 transmitters, 1 receiver, and then sync those up in post, and then isolate those 2, and then everything would be in stereo, and it would just be a whole mess. So this is a lot easier. You can just have 4 people. I'd probably set it to mono, let everyone talk over each other, or they can just mute themselves, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. These microphones come in at $160 retail. I'm sure that these things go on sale from time to time. If you are going to buy them for yourself, you will get some cool stuff. So obviously when you get your product, you get a nice bag. Inside of that bag is where you house everything, including the charger. The charger is powered via USB-C, and you do get an included USB-A to USB-C charging cable. That cable can also be used to charge the individual receiver and transmitters. So that is kind of a bonus in the event for some reason like you lose or leave your case behind. You also get 2 different audio cables, 4 dead cats, as well as 4 of these little magnets. I'm actually using one of them to have it mounted to my shirt for the sake of this video. Now, while the design of this microphone is pretty similar to some of the other ones on the market, it's got some cool stuff that I actually haven't seen other microphones do. There's different buttons on here that I'm not used to seeing on things like the DJI mic, the Godox mic, Hollyland, and one of those is actually that it has a volume button. There are different ones on the market that do have independent volume buttons. However, this one has a button on the side where you can press it up to 4 different times, and that will adjust the different volume levels of the individual transmitter. And most microphones, if you adjust the gain, it's going to be for all of them. Some of the higher end microphones like the XT1 from Godox or the DJI Mic 2, you can separately adjust the different gain or volume levels for each independent transmitter. However, this one can also do it, which is cool because it's a budget microphone. But what's even better is you can see on the front of the microphone, there is an LED bar. And so every time you press that button, it changes the different level, and you can see it and tell all your friends and family what volume level you're at. Another thing that is kind of cool is that it has a mute button. So if you are talking in like a 4-person setup, like a podcast, and one person wants to mute themselves so they can sneeze, you can just press the button. It also doubles as the on-off button for the microphone. So, you know, don't hold it down too long or you may accidentally turn off your mic. On the flip side, there's an independent button for noise cancellation. Now, what is a little cool about this microphone, and I don't know if it's a gimmick or if it's real, but it has an AI noise cancellation feature. What that technically means, and it's probably similar to other microphones on the market, depending on your environment, it will adjust the noise cancellation cancellation to fit. I am not the biggest advocate for built-in noise cancellation just because it's not something that you can go back and undo. However, if you do want to use it built-in my opinion, it's probably one of the better ones that I've tried out. The audio quality, which by the way, we've been listening to this entire time, this is really what it sounds like. I am pretty impressed with how it sounds. In my environment, I could probably get away with just using these omnidirectional microphones that are mounted to your chest. The Roomba's going off. Switching back to the DW40 though, this is 24-bit audio, which is really surprising to me, especially given the price point. I know there are other microphones in this market that do have 24-bit audio, specifically like the Godox XT1. That one is 24-bit, but this one also has it, and you get 4 transmitters when most microphones only give you 2 transmitters. So anyways, before I keep talking and rambling on, I want to show you guys what it would sound like outside if you were to use this when vlogging. So this is how the microphone sounds outside. So I am in a park. This is where I like to do a lot of my outdoor tests because honestly, it's a good environment. There's kids screaming behind me. There's usually dogs barking. It's a little windy today, so I actually have the dead cat on top of this microphone. But honestly, you guys tell me what you think. I haven't listened to it at this point. This is just my unbiased review, I guess. They're not paying me to say anything. I just get to check it out. So I don't know. This is what it sounds like without noise cancellation. And then we're gonna try to turn that on, I think. All right, there we go. Now we have the noise canceling on. So it's an AI denoise function. I don't know what the audio is going to sound like. It could sound really bad, could sound really good. So if you guys can't hear the wind, then I guess it's working. But if you can hear the wind and the birds squawking or squeaking, maybe it's not doing any good. All right, now we've gone ahead and turned it back off. I'm also using the camera's auto function right now because I don't really know what optimal settings to use. So this seems the most ideal. And eventually I'm gonna get a lighter lens because this isn't cutting it. But anyways, I think you guys have heard enough outside. Let's go ahead and head back inside and finish this up. Now, while I could not take advantage of the entire park because, you know, I'm a one-man band and then I'm also there with my family, it's a lot easier said than done at times, but these microphones do have a range of 200 meters or about 650 feet. I wasn't able to test that because, again, I kind of have to do other things when I'm at the park, and this is kind of like a side thing that I get to go off and do. It's almost like a side quest. I just get to like wander the park and find a nice secluded spot. And in this specific case, it was actually really loud. There were a bunch of kids playing because it is like that Thanksgiving break, so everyone's out of school, everyone's exploring places that they wouldn't normally explore on a normal weekday when I'm filming these videos. The battery life, if you are using these, whether inside or outside, is rated for 5 hours per transmitter, as well as the receiver. However, you can get an extra charge when using the included case, so this gets you up to 10 hours then, if I'm doing my math right. So if you charge this, it gets you 10 hours. I think they take about 2 hours on average to charge up, so it's really not that long. Maybe it's a breather. If you're playing like a game of manhunt or hide and seek, you know, go grab a water bottle. Do people even play those games anymore? I'm asking as I'm in my mid-20s and I don't do that with my friends. Do you do that with your friends? From what I can tell, this microphone is pretty good, and honestly, I would even go farther than saying it's pretty good. For $160, and that is just the retail price, I keep saying that, this is a really good buy. You get 4 different transmitters and the receiver. It is not the best microphone on the market, and there are different variations of microphones like this. For example, Comica makes the Vimo Q. They haven't sent that to me, but if they do want to send that, I wouldn't be opposed because I'd love to test it against this one. But that is more of a premium microphone, whereas this is more of like a budget-friendly microphone. It has a few features that this one doesn't have. Like specifically, this one doesn't have the option for a lavalier input. So if you wanted to, you know, run a mic up your shirt, you can't do that. However, they only weigh 12 grams and you can inverse mount them like you can do with like the Hollyland. That is an added bonus, and they weigh next to nothing. Something else that is worth mentioning about the Vimo versus the DW40 is that the DW40 doesn't have any way to independently monitor the different audio tracks other than in post. So if you do want to see what your audio levels are for each independent microphone, maybe go with a different one like the Vimo Q, because that one has an LED screen which shows you the different levels of each individual transmitter. I'm not really sure if these are going to hold up to the test of time, but for the time being, I think I'm going to be able to get some use out of them. I may start a podcast with some friends. Maybe that's something that I do in the new year. My friends have been talking about we should do a really dumb podcast where we all say jokes that would probably get us canceled these days. So maybe I shouldn't do that, especially as this channel is growing and I do other stuff that's not on YouTube. And I don't really want to mix those worlds, and I don't want to end up in the news of someone said something and that someone being me. So maybe I won't do a podcast, but if I were to do one, I'd probably use these, or I'd use like a nice dynamic microphone like the Shure SMB7 or whatever the name is. I don't understand all these microphones and like their weird alphabet and numeric names. It doesn't work well with me. Anyways, if you do want to pick up one of these microphones for yourself, I am going to link it below in the description. On your way down there, be sure to click the like button as well as to subscribe to the channel. That obviously helps this channel grow. Other people can see these videos, and then maybe I can learn a thing or two from you guys, because at the end of the day, I'm a novice and I'm just figuring all this out for myself for the first time too. So if you like what you saw today, I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.